Hey, I'm Dave Anthony, and we're doing another Manitoba Junior Hockey League alumni interview. Today, we're very excited to be joined by a former Portage Terrier currently tearing it up in the NCAA, defenseman Owen Murray. Owen, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Excited to do this.
For starters, how is it possible you're only 19 years old? It feels like you've been playing, you were just in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League. How can you still be so young, Owen?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The late birthday always seems to get people, and no, I find it lucky at times to have, but at times it kind of sucks. But yeah, it seems like time's going by fast, but slow at the same time.
Well, before we go back in time to your days as a Portage Terrier, why don't you catch us up on what your hockey career's been like since leaving the Manitoba Junior Hockey League?
Yeah, no, it's been a little bit of an interesting path. Bounced around a little bit. Spent a little bit of time in Penticton, and obviously COVID kind of screwed with that. And spent my last kind of year and a half now in Green Bay before coming to school. And yeah, the USHL was a lot of fun. Really high caliber hockey down there for sure. And no, I spent 2 really good years there. Met a lot of good people along the way, and yeah, obviously it's been a fun ride in my 4 years of junior, but glad to be at school now for sure.
It's so awesome to see you flourishing now at the NCAA level. Let's go back to your time with the Portage Terriers. What do you remember about, becoming the hockey player you are now and kind of learning some lessons on and off the ice that turned you into a better hockey player in person thanks to the MJHL?
Yeah, I mean, obviously to start, I was fortunate enough with a great opportunity, obviously in Portage, and getting to play for Blake Spiller is just unbelievable. I mean, any kid you really ask that goes to Portage, they'll say the same thing, that he kind of gives you an opportunity that makes you into a better player and a better person. And I think that was great for my maturity. I think I spent 2 years kind of learning the ins and outs on how to handle things the right way and play the right way. And I think it's all the little intangibles and the details that I learned there that have kind of helped me along the way to get where I am now.
So take us through what it was like to go from the Manitoba Junior Hockey League to the USHL. I know you had a brief stop in the BC in between, but more so you were on the ice from MJ to the USHL. What were some of the adjustments you had to make?
I think it's just the overall consistency. I think consistency is kind of the thing that carries you throughout junior, and it was a big thing for me from Manitoba to the USHL. Is every night was a really hard competition no matter who we played. And yeah, there was a really high caliber line or group of players on each team that was getting drafted in a high round every single night. So I think it was just a matter of bringing the same version of yourself every single night. And something that I struggled with to start and kind of took me a little while to figure out. But as time went on, I think there was a lot of learning adjustments that I kind of figure out along the way. And definitely by the end of my time, really felt confident and comfortable. And yeah, I think that was kind of the biggest thing.
Do you think going and learning the lessons you had going from the MJ to the U show helped you when you moved from the USHL to NCAA Division I? You were kind of mentally prepared for what you needed to do for that next step a little more so than you were when you were a little bit younger?
Yeah, for sure. I think you kind of know how to handle your routines and everything you do, and kind of having a plan for each day. And I think that was one thing that when I was younger, you just kind of go with the flow, what everybody else is doing, and you just kind of see what the day brings you. And then as you get older, you kind of figure out that you got to stay on top of things, establish a routine of what you're going to do at certain times of the day to have yourself ready for practice, for games, for whatever you're doing. And I think that was one thing that I definitely kind of fell short on earlier when I was younger. And I mean, obviously maturity helps with that, kind of knowing what you're supposed to do. And as I grew older, I think that was kind of the big thing that helped me along, and finding more consistency. And it definitely was something that's huge here as well now that I'm at school.
Talking with Owen Murray in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League alumni interviews. Let's go back to Portage. I know you got a couple of years there, but you were still in your home province, so your family still got to come see you play. But you got to bill it. What was the experience like, living in Portage and becoming a member of that community? Because to be a Terrier, you have to be a part of that community.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing about playing in Portage is you see a lot of guys that want to go back there after they're done, and they're really attached to their time when they're there. And that was kind of the same for me. I had great billets, Dale and Melinda Descour, and my brother's actually living with them now in his first year. So kind of full circle, but yeah, like they were phenomenal for me, treated me really well, and same with everything. Like when I was at school, all the teachers, all the staff were great there, and just made me really feel like home. And same thing carried on to the rink and around every person I knew. They kind of knew me, and I got to know them. And yeah, every summer now, I got to go back this summer and see a bunch of people and get onto the golf course. And I think that's the special part about kind of playing closer to home is all the connections to the community. And obviously, yeah, I love my time at Portage and always try to get back there.
You traveled around the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, obviously, for a couple seasons, and it's a similar story throughout every community. But is that something that you take away with you? Are those memories of, your community fans and the kids coming out and cheering for you and asking for high fives? Is that something that still sticks with you today?
100%. Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest thing is whenever you get in tough times along the way or whatever, I always kind of think back to yeah, those exact things, like the kind of community and support that I had in Portage, and everything that went right there. It's kind of like, yeah, you kind of know what the feeling's like, where the support is. And I think that's something that I kind of always have carried along with me is the passion I had for the community after I left. I think they rubbed off of me really well. And like I said, it's always fun to go back because the same faces still recognize me, and I like seeing them as well.
Oh, and the Manitoba Junior Hockey League continues to push development and push players to the next level, and they've been graduating more players to NCAA Division I and other programs over the last number of years. Just from your point of view, what does it mean to you and other players that you talk to that the league cares so much about their players, trying to put them in the best spot to succeed both on the ice and in the classroom?
Yeah, I think it's pretty special what's kind of gone on in these last few years. Like you said, you see more and more kids kind of committing to Division I and getting those opportunities. And I think it attributes to the branding and the marketing that the league's really done in the last few years. And these kids are getting great opportunities on good stages. And like you said, the development's kind of really gone through the roof. There's a lot of good talent that's really starting to pour into the league, and kids are giving it a chance, I think, is the biggest thing. And yeah, it's obviously paying off for a lot of these kids, and I think it's only going to continue to flourish because there's a lot of good hockey back in Manitoba, and it's nice to see it stay in the province.
Oh, and with Dauphin winning last year, Portage has got a stellar reputation for winning. The Steinbach Pistons have won a couple championships and represented on a national level. Are other players starting to hear more about the Manitoba Junior Hockey League? Maybe take it, I don't want to say more seriously, but viewed as now a legitimate contender every year for the Centennial Cup?
Yeah, I think it's for sure. Like when I got back from my season last year, I was able to catch a few of the MJHL final games, and you could kind of, people that I talked to even there were saying how much more, like, I think the league's becoming respected in a sense. And I think it definitely is more on a national level. People are starting to realize that there's a really good development model going on in the league. And I think it's just noticeable in the kind of the parity across the league. It's becoming really well balanced. There's a lot of teams with a lot of good players, and I think it's going to continue to trend upwards for sure. And obviously, I think there's a lot of good coaching that puts a lot of good time into their players. And obviously, I think the NCAA schools are really starting to respect that and giving these kids more looks.
Oh, and let's talk a little bit about moving to a different country to play hockey. I know oftentimes up in the MJ, we talk about American kids coming up, but now you're a Canadian kid that had to go play down south for a couple of years. What was the adjustment like moving away from home, and just take us through what it was kind of like for you getting used to a different hockey culture?
Yeah, I think it's completely different. I guess in my time, it was right in the middle of kind of COVID when things were really shut down back home and a little bit down south. So it was kind of a little bit of a disconnect in a sense from Canada to the US. So it was definitely a bigger transition and adjustment. And I think the biggest thing is hockey is really well watched, but it's more understood in Canada than it is in the States. So you have a lot of crazy hardcore fans, and I think one of those biggest adjustments was like getting used to more just the excitement of something happening rather than the actual understanding of the game. So I think it's a little different because you get viewed not necessarily like understood as a junior amateur hockey player. So I think that was kind of the interesting part is we had a really passionate fan base in Green Bay, and we're almost viewed as pros. So you kind of have to handle yourself in a different way, and maturity is a big important thing with that too. So I think that was kind of the biggest adjustment was really acting mature and understanding that there's a lot of support and a lot of people that I was almost having to help grow the game in a sense with all my teammates in that area because it's not as well understood as it is in Canada.
Really well put. We joked off the top about you only being 19, but with that and what you've been able to accomplish, it means you've been watched and scouted for a very long time and at a very young age. What advice would you have for players that are up and coming who are being watched at a young age, and maybe some things that you went through that can maybe help them as they continue to develop and look for opportunities elsewhere in hockey?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that kind of always helped me along the way was just no matter what your skill set is or whatever it is, you got to compete at a consistent basis every single day. I think your mindset of coming to the rink and knowing you have a chance to grow and you're going to get coached at a really high level. I think it's a matter of really respecting the knowledge that you're being given from your coaching staff and just using it in any sort of way or whatever role you're getting and just performing to exactly that. And I think that's the kind of the biggest thing with when you're a younger kid coming into a junior hockey league or any level is just understanding how to really be coachable, understanding what's needed out of you and the amount of time and effort that you need to put in to succeed in the way you want to.
Sorry, Eric, my allergies are acting up. It sounds like he's got me all emotional here. It looks like I'm starting to cry at his answers. Yeah, I have to edit that out, please. Okay. Last two for you, Owen. We'll go back to the Portage side of things. You mentioned it before, but you talked about how your brother is now with the Portage Terriers, so you get to keep an eye on them. But what does it mean, to have a Murray out there in Portage Terrier green, and just what does it mean to your family?
Yeah, I think it's pretty special. And I've had a few people even reach out to me how crazy it is that my younger brother's there now. And I think it shows again to the kind of organization they are. When we knew my brother's draft year was kind of coming up, like that was the place we really wanted him to go, obviously. We have tons of trust and respect for Blake and all the staff, and same with the community. Like we know exactly what he's getting into. He's going to get supported in the classroom really well. And again, just the people are amazing there. So I think it's really special for me to look at it, that he's on a good team. He's in a good spot. And like always, hopefully they'll finish the run and take the championship back to Portage. But yeah, obviously he's enjoying it a ton. All the guys are treating him really well. And hopefully he'll just continue to take good strides, and I'm sure he will because he's in a great spot.
Owen, we'll wrap up with this. We kind of talked about the illustrious history of the Portage Terriers. They've had so many great players come through that program. But to you, what does it mean to be right near the top of the list as a player fans and other teams still talk about, people around the Manitoba Junior Hockey League still talk about? What does it mean to have left such a lasting impression on the league, even a couple years removed from playing in the province?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of everything that I got out of the MJ is what's made me. And especially in Portage, you look at the list of guys that have come out of there, and I think all of them kind of respect where they started from and how much it meant to their careers. And I think yeah, looking back at it, it's really special being one of those guys that was given the opportunity they got when they played in the MJ and played in Portage. And you just kind of look back at it, and you're really proud that you were able to represent that organization and win a championship. And I was just really, really lucky with the group of guys and everybody that I met along the way, because it's unbelievable to keep representing them to this day.
Well, I know there's still a lot of young defensemen that are in the MJ that will be forever compared to Owen Murray. They'll always be looking for an Owen Murray type defenseman across the MJHL. Congratulations on all the success. Best of luck at UMass this year, Owen, and thank you so much for taking some time for me today.
No, thanks for having me. This is fun.